Forget aim assist, forget dead zones, it's time to aim with your own two hands with Fortnite's new and improved gyro controls. See how I turn the camera just by turning the controller? Gyro aiming can be great for everything from slight aim adjustments to fast and precise flicks. Whether you like to hold the controller upright, flat, or somewhere in between, you should find that Fortnite's new gyro controls give you a really natural command over the camera and over your weapon. I like the extra stability of having the controller flat in my lap, so let's move to an overhead view of the controller so you can see what I'm doing. From a small layer of extra control just when you need it, to something that can more drastically change how you look around the game world, Fortnite has a wide variety of new options here. So let's have a quick look at what you can do. If you enable gyro controls and don't change anything else, gyro aiming will only be active while you're pressing the aim button or while editing a building. That way you don't have to worry about how you're moving your controller during regular gameplay, but you can activate it whenever you need it. Of course, aiming with the look stick still works as normal, even while gyro is active. Players can still use the look stick for big camera movements and just rely on gyro to line up a shot or track a moving target. Other players like to have their gyro always on. If that's how you're playing, it's usually a good idea to customize your controls so that you have a gyro modifier button. Pressing and holding the gyro modifier button will disable the gyro so you can reposition your controller without messing with the camera. Playing like this, you could even do away with the look stick entirely if you really wanted to. But let's try something different with the stick. When gyro controls are enabled, you also have the option to use flick stick. Flick stick lets you turn the camera by rotating the stick. When you first point the stick in any direction, you'll make a smooth and quick turn to face that direction. For example, pull the stick back to quickly look behind you, or if you're taking fire, point the stick in that direction to see where it's coming from, and let gyro aim take care of the rest. Once the stick has been engaged, rotating it will rotate the camera. So between flicking and rotating the stick, this gives you fast and direct control over your bearing at all times. Now, because flick stick uses the whole range of the look stick just to turn the camera left and
Yo. Really, but I have to. Whatever you want to do.
Aquí el científico retransmitiendo en el canal seguro de los 7. A las 100 horas, 4 minutos y 0 segundos hemos recibido una señal de la paradigma. Todavía tengo que confirmar su autenticidad y verificar que no se trata de un hackeo, una suplantación, un truco o algo así. Pero creo que es real. Sé que entre nuestras filas todavía hay sentimientos encontrados sobre la paradigma. Sin embargo, en aras de sobrevivir necesitamos considerarla una aliada. Somos los 7.
I want something purple, oh god.
Estoy mirando a ti, puedo ver tu cara a través de esa máscara. Independientemente del pasado, no hay futuro sin ella.
gonna believe it.
See, the name of the ship was a belly of the. Sugar and damn.
Gonna believe it.
Sunday, the wind. I've been sugar and damn. Take a look to see the name of the ship is a belly of the. And the Sunday, the one's gone. Sugar and ham. One day, take it more. Put the seeds, the name of the ship was a belly of the. And the One is that my friend. I got him good. Got him. Somewhere the waterman bring sugar and damn. Taking even more. Put to see the name of the ship was a belly of the. Sunday the water from the burn sugar and damn. I headshotted him with a green gun. Taken even. Good. Taking even. Hello, bye bye. Hello, bye bye. Up to this match. Ouch, 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 ouch. Exercise. Taking even more. Taking even more. Bring sugar in the air. One in there, the one go. Bring sugar in the air. One day. Ouch! Don't sneak up on me, they up my Yes! We won!
Unfortunate to see Benji go down the back of the zone. First moving indeed, but this is the kind of thing Mr. Savage is absolutely known for. I said at the top of the show that Mr. Savage is in his perfect form. He's in his final form, may I say, at this particular moment. Every single time you watch him, it is a highlight reel. And that gameplay that we just saw from him, the bouncing off the webs, the utilization of the Spider-Man's web shooters to recover from being deep out inside the zone on multiple occasions, absolutely big-brained, and it's just what Mr. Savage is all about.
Yeah, man, the ability to just sort of stagger your rotations with the Spider-Man, sit behind, look for everyone to get ahead of you, and then you just sort of web your way in. And then, of course, when he's hitting shots like that onto Slove, goodbye, good night. Yeah, Savage is on one today. And look, people call him one of the greatest solo players ever. And it's not an exaggeration. Like, he just thrives. He can just get into that element, get into... Remember some of the show we were talking about snapping it on, right? He is just on point. Mr. Savage, man, what a player. Can't wait to see where they are now in the standings after that clutch.
Well, let's take a look together. Let's see how things are going, Levin. Remember, that was game number 4. We still have 2 games left to go, and we want to try and make it in that top 8 if we look to auto-qualify going to finals 2 weeks from today. Right now, Kinzel Deceptos in 9th place, knocking on that door, right? Trying to make it in. But once again, we turn our attention to the very top of that board. Eliandra, I'm so sorry if I say your name wrong. Art skill as well, 143 points. Now, once again, we've kind of seen that clutch, that solo clutch factor. We've talked about it all last year, and we're seeing it here once again, right? Mr. Savage, he didn't necessarily get the victory out. He didn't get a ton of eliminations, 11, but what he needed to do was secure that top 5, right? Because those points, they do matter.
Yeah, nah. And look, I'll be real. I said at the start of the show I was predicting them because of the hope, but this is going beyond hope now, right? This is a real possibility coming into these last 2 games. And, you know, I hope they can sort of hold on to this. I hope there's no choking involved whatsoever because everything is setting up well for them. Of course, we talked about the POI tilt. It's a great spot. Don't have to worry about the zone variation too much. So as long as they can stay how they've played so far, hopefully they will be in that top 8 by the end.
Yeah, remember I said the qualification threshold was 132 points last week? Well, guess what? Or qualifier 1, they're already on 132 now. But in first before this was Pink and Anas. They were in that first place slot. We saw them now drop down to 6th place just from losing out in that 1 game, right?
That's right. I can't. It's coming down to the wire here. You know, with 2 games left, some duo is going to turn this entire qualifier to on it and shake things. Dude, it was.
This was so rough because he doesn't get the siphon because I think Vino in the distance gets the elimination and steals it away from him. So he could have actually maybe survived that, but he just barely missed on the elimination. You hate to see that kind of thing, man.
It's rough, man. Sometimes it just be like that. It's Fortnite. Some things will happen. Duels will rise and others will fall. But you guys heard that battle bus, which means we're getting ready to jump aboard once again. 2 more games before we wrap up the day in Europe. So for now, let's send it back on over with Boop and Shy Wager for game number 5.
Game number 5. This is where, if you're on the bottom of the leaderboard, it's time to rise up. You only have 1 more chance to get your name into the pot before it gets pulled on that final tally on the leaderboard. If you're on top of that ladder, it's time to play defense. That's T-Chips, Art Skill, that's Benji, and Mr. Savage, PKR, Mappy, bunch of teams that are there past that 100-point threshold and want to hold on.
Yeah, and it's pretty easy still. You can still do it in 2 games. The point difference between that top 8 position and about 20th place is about 30 points. So basically 1 victory royale will put yourself up there. So it is still everything to play for. And everyone at the top, you can't get too comfortable unless your name is T-Chips and Art Skill, because you can still be knocked out of that top 8 as we go back to the absolute anarchy that is Chonkers, I feel like. And I mean, it's already over before it even starts there, as they get eliminated. Swilliam and Lecce, you know, finally winning it out again. I think they're doing a little bit better compared to last week, which is, you know, it's always good to see improvement from them. We always love to see Lecce on top, Shayo.
Absolutely. I feel like I have like a morning routine now with these games as well. I got to start watching Floki and Clement get bopped. More action on Chonkers until we move on past that as well. But you can see across like all the regions we're looking at right now, it's Bugha and Miro, 2 big names, right, from NA East that are rolling in with success in Chonkers and really moving on to the next portion of the competition. That might just change a little bit inside semifinals. We'll see exactly what breaks down before these qualifiers. Right now, it is very difficult to kind of get out of here and claim this spot entirely.
Yeah, I wonder if Bugha and Miro were uncon in Chonkers. I'm not too sure about that, but in EU there are so many teams at Chonkers, so that statistic makes a lot of sense, right? Everyone's a piece of those coolers, and you know, if that happens, then obviously the teams that are landing there aren't going to do that well because they're all trying to fight out for that loot. Lecce here with that nice little heavy shotgun popping through, and that is Floki and Clement's game done very, very swiftly.
Wow, okay, so Gore's also rolling in. Stena and Rayad taking out a team that's also very defensive off of spawn, especially in duos. Getting cracked. You don't really see that every single game from them. So the aggression on the north side is still really raining forward. The question is, what do things look like now? But we're talking about patterns, maybe getting aggressive a little bit too early on inside these games. Is game 4 a good time to chomp down on the duo that's contesting you? Benji and Savage thought so. And right now, that might be trouble for them because the Siptos and Kinzel, they might clap back.
Yeah, I think game 5, I mean, obviously Kindred and Deceptors, they could be very emotional about this, right? They could try to fight back towards Benji and Savage, but these guys, I don't think that's within them. I don't think they need to do that. They're in 9th place right now. If they were a little bit further behind, I feel like they would make more drastic decisions in that position, but being just off that edge, that has to do something to you psychologically. You have to feel that pressure to not mess up in the early game, so there's no point to push out this, Io.
Absolutely, you want to just stay secure, and I'm liking that pattern as well from Pink, Anas, and every team at Covert Cavern this game as well. It's really fun to watch though, because one slip up there on the mountain, you're straight up into another duel's box, and those are some high placing teams right now. Pink and Anas in 6th overall. Mustache Malabuka, I mean, I expected a few greater things today overall, but it looks like Camp Cuddle has been a little bit of a problem for them to get out of. This off-spawn contestation, it's sticky, it's lasting longer today as well, and then on the back end of it, Mustache once again, shield crack, has to walk back to Malabuka. They split up that shield, they're ready to go again, but the pressure's on.
Yeah, and these guys have been haunting them for such a long time. Every single practice session, every single duo cash cup, the boys, Smeki and Gabix, the Italians, they are there haunting them. And you know, you would expect Malabuka and Mustache to do, you know, much better in these spawn fights, but I feel like a lot of the strengths come from the late game, right? They have the best clutches in late game, but the early game fights sort of not going their way, unfortunately. You know, they don't have the material to sort of play the sort of play style. And now, you know, looking at the point, that reflects it. 44 points in total while being contested. Definitely tough. You know, I think they have their issues with Sturge in these stacked lobbies. I think it is sort of a blessing in disguise sometimes to be contested, especially when you're such an aggressive and strong fighting duo, but today that opportunity just hasn't presented itself.
It's very, very tough, and it just kind of gives me a little bit of a flashback, some reminiscence of Steamy Stacks, right? But even over there, they can just bunker down in brick and metal. It's very hard to break through walls, farm, and get found out. Over here, the lodge is all just wood, and it can get set ablaze at any time. Big sprays, but jump up and down from his opponents. Mustache can't find the finishing shot. Now Malabuka is hung out to drive by himself. They've taken high ground somehow. This entire fight is flipped on its head, but it's also reset because there's lots of chug splashes down below. That team now fully healed, ready to go. And Malabuka, he's feeling the pain from all of this. Barely any mats, barely any shields, just hanging on by a thread. Tyson's the one that's creeping up from the left, but he gets bumped twice. The double SMG spray, this will split apart. Where is Mustache? There is no help. He's been kind of just evaded the entire time. Tyson and Schmecky have the God movement, and yeah, there's a little bit of peering in from the windows, but that little bit of shopping might not be enough. We need to get in there, make some transactions, get some damage down. You can't just look at the clothes right from the outside. This is just tough for this team.
Yeah, and I think Mustache tried to play it a little bit smartly, right? He had that high guard advantage in his early game fight. You really want to stay on top of high guard. You want to whittle down your opponent's materials. He made that big push to go for his high guard, but Malabuka was sort of stuck down below there. You can get all of the advantages on high guard, but you know, if your teammate's not there, then it's not going to work out for you. As Mustache now, with those 6 builds, tries to go back down, but he is just in such a tough spot here. And these guys are unrelenting with this Stinger spray. 2 more builds left in total. He's able to run through the maze though, surviving a little bit longer, but I don't see any chance he can survive this.
This is why you practice all those edits. He's been given about 3 or 4 very good timed pump shots. Somehow he's still making this an absolute big cost of time for Tyson to clasp down on, but there was almost a possibility there for a 1v2. He had about 3 or 4 shots that he could have hit a bit harder and made it a 1v1. Unfortunately, with all the pressure there, with a teammate down, with game 5 on the line, with the contestation and the SMGs spraying in your brain, it's tough to have that reaction.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit worried for Malabuka and Mercers, right? I think they are basically guaranteed to be qualified to the semifinals or the heats, but you know, with only having sort of 1 lobby of heats, you know, with that constantly being refilled, you're going to be meeting up with these guys every single time, right? So if you're not winning these spawn fights, then I don't know exactly how you're going to be able to qualify to the finals, because you're not going to be consistent, you're not going to be winning games either, so we might not see a grand final with Malabuka and Mercers, and that scares me a little bit.
Yeah, that's not like EU. They need to be there. I feel like the one way you can do it is just not be in the same heat as the people that are contesting you. And like one big thing too, when it comes to, you know, the qualifiers to semis right before finals storylines, is sometimes spots open up, right? People are already qualified. You might be able to move your drop spot, go somewhere else, qualify, and then come back. Those questions though are not in the mind of Jeff and Keandra right now. They're focused on surviving this fight in front of them. And that focus might be faltered by pump shots left and right. A big one there though with a trade. He goes for the finish and doesn't get it. Those Elam points, the 3 that he might desperately need, are not going to be there. Kiko and Mosh finally win a fight.
But they're getting chopped out now. He does use those Spider-Man though to get off of it, but Mosh not so fortunate. They're breaking his legs, I believe, as Kylie now trying to push up towards them as well. And Mosh and Kiko, they seem red in the eyes, you know, they're trying to push every single team nearby them. And I think it's sort of a